What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. And in this episode, you guys, we're going to be reacting to the protest of Jimmy Kimmel and Mila Kunis that we did yesterday. So Miriam actually hit us up and she wanted to discuss some of the things that she observed in that protest. So Miriam is going to be joining us, and we are also going to be using special OT powers, believe it or not, special, very, very special advanced OT powers to infiltrate the Jimmy Kimmel audience. So we have a very special release for all of you to see how we managed to actually be inside his audience and how we have full power, OT powers being unleashed inside of his audience to get to the bottom of questions that we do have for ourselves. So please, everyone, welcome the amazing, yeah.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi,
Miriam.
everyone. Thanks for having me, Serge. I really appreciate it. I was just really enthralled with the protest that you and Laura were doing. And I was just very, I don't know, just very emotionally connected to it. The things that you guys were saying were, it was incredible to see them being said out loud in such a visible and, in such a, yeah, like such a way that people could hear you. There's something therapeutic in that, in seeing people, and I think maybe that's why people connect with what we're doing as well, because when you see someone calling out the abuse that you experienced, it's very powerful. And I really felt that that's what you guys were doing there. And Laura, was saying, Mila, you have a voice, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like she's in a position of power. She can think, she could speak on these things that she's very closely associated with, these atrocities that have been unearthed and that are going public. And it's wild to see Mila and Ashton just basically behaving as if everything is normal. It's like it's a very bizarre experience. So it's incredible to see you and Laura calling that out. And yeah, and I just wanted to support you guys all the way with that. And we wanted to just sort of like highlight and touch on a few things and view the actual interview that then happened with Mila and Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you for saying that. And it is very powerful when you are able to step in front of institutions that are
Yeah.
showing you a pattern, right? And we protested Elizabeth Moss last time, and for different reasons. But
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you just said here, like one of the biggest things we told Mila Kunis is to use her voice, to use her position of privilege and power to stop the nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
that is something that is at her disposal, is at her fingertips. And both her and Ashton, that purport to still be somewhat involved. I mean, I know they did step down from the leadership of Thorn, but on this child trafficking issue, they're
Right.
not taking it serious whatsoever. Because if they so still have this nonprofit that they still have some sort of connection to, it's not like they got kicked out to the door and they have nothing to do with it, as far as I understand. So there's various things that are not making a shred of sense. And I think that that's what is calling in this moment to actually correct the record and set the record straight. I mean, imagine that. In what world did they think that the controversy was going to die out as it gets corroborated from a completely different industry, has nothing to do with Scientology, but has everything to do with P.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy?
Yeah.
And we go, well, why is P. Diddy, Danny Masterson, and Ashton Kutcher, like these three amigos, so intertwined together? Like they don't make sense by themselves. Like,
Mhm.
but oh no, it does make sense because Ashton and Danny, and then oh, it does make sense because they were all going to the white party, and oh, it does make sense that it was by invite only, and it's like they were the ones that were saying Ashton literally wrote to the judge after the conviction that he would be willing to leave his kids with Danny.
Mm.
Like, let that fully sink in. Like, your friend of all this time and all of that, but wait, you're willing to go? I'll give him my kids after he just got found and fully convicted?
Mhm.
Because that's what's not making sense about that apology and that write up that he did. Oh no, judge, don't sentence him too harshly because I would be willing to leave him with my kids.
Mhm.
Like, the person I know
Yeah.
is some sort of angelical figure and is giving, like, what in the literal hell are you talking about? Like,
Mm.
what type of friend is this? Is what it's giving. Like, yeah, you could be really good friends with someone, but after get convicted, you're gonna leave your kids with them.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Yeah, and like what kind of minimizing is that? Like he was found guilty of raping multiple women and the testimony that we heard was pretty horrific. And in both trials there was additional women who testified who weren't part of the charged cases. But how and then I just, yeah, it's really hard to reconcile this being okay with everything and making everything okay, and that's what I feel like we're seeing in real time with this continued attitude from Mila and Ashton to ignore the outcries of like this should be addressed, they should sit down and talk about this. um yeah,
well, part
like
of the problem is that they are the part of the problem, right? They become
exactly.
that problem themselves. Like, and we
Mhm.
did speak out for Mila yesterday and said, yeah, we know you were groomed. We know you were abused.
Mhm.
We know this was all normalized on you, but the year is 2024. So whatever it was then that they took advantage of you, that they defrauded you, that they whatever it is, however they gassed you, you owe it to yourself today to double check how you got gassed. So you come to present time as a full grown adult woman that you
Mhm.
are today, and you take and inspect all the facts that are in front of you about this industry. Because even the fact that Jimmy Kimmel is doing all of this is like it's all laundering their image. It's all
Yeah.
just an image laundering service. And that's why all of this is a bunch of garbage. This is what it's been. The corporate media
Yeah.
running cover ups, actively suppressing
Mhm.
the information from being said, or, just snubbing anything that they don't deemed, oh, this child, child trafficking. Nobody wants to read that. Let's look
Mhm.
at other stuff. How many glossy bullshit headlines have they been selling?
Mhm.
While all of these things, we already know they effed up in the Jeffrey Epstein situation. We already know that there's a pattern of the corporate media to
Mhm.
fumble all investigations, to not know what in the hell is going on, to just always expect to be told, oh, we've been told this and we've been told that. And it's like, that is not journalism being told. Go find, do investigate, do pull strings, do call up people, do get the documents, do
Mhm.
start connecting the dots. Don't expect all the trauma victims to have to do everything for themselves. Don't expect to be
Right.
bypassed.
Mhm.
Why is the media wanting to be bypassed? Oh, because you don't know how to do your job? Are you kidding me? Like,
Mhm.
and I mean, literally here, I mean, this is for everyone to see, you guys. This is this is the sanitization we're talking about, right? This is Mila was told after her big last fiasco where the apology from hell is what we were denouncing, right? Because remember, the whole problem she was in problems about was for not apologizing, for literally giving the worst apology ever. So it's giving same
Mm-hmm.
shit, different air freshener. So you have a transparency problem when you gave this fake apology and all your publicist told you is disappear and then just come back. We'll do Jimmy Kimmel. And we'll just call it Mila Kunis on her kids' Halloween's costumes. Parking war with Michael Keaton and how she loves the Dodgers. That's how we're going to cleanse and sanitize the image, and then America's going to forget all about it. So let's just react to a little bit of what in the hell.
Mila Kunis. Mila, it's good to see you. I'm a little bit disappointed because I know you're from New York, right, originally?
Oh, no.
No, you're not?
We went over this before.
Wait a minute.
Let's not start this drama.
Okay.
I'm not from New York.
I thought you lived in New York when you were a kid.
I lived there in my 20s.
Oh, all right.
But I know where this is. I know where this is headed towards.
Yeah, because you're a Dodgers fan, and we're Dodgers playing the Mets right now. I have the game on right there.
How distracting is this?
It's not that distracting. Yeah.
So right away, just take into context, you guys. And for as much as Mila is pretending here that it's all fun and games, let's not forget that people are shouting outside what Laura was shouting out. Well, she knows, her team is telling her, oh, this is what's going on. Oh, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. But all of this nervousness, all of this he, ha, 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 let's really ignore other people because we're so superior. We're so high and mighty. We're so celebrities. Like, we're the celebrities. It's part of this master slave BS system that they got going on. I mean, it's so egregious. It's so nauseating. It's like they don't want to hear any negative feedback because their only go-to is ignore. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't tell us anything that we don't want to hear because we're just going to ignore you. And the problem is that they're finding themselves by all their own actions. Mila's not just being protested because she's in Hollywood. Like, there's a very specific connection that you have to all of this problem, Mila. And you date back how many decades to when so many of these dysfunctions were happening all around you. So before you say you didn't know what in the hell was going on, we have plenty of receipts on tape, just what's been put on the public record, that I'm sorry, like, at one point you gotta have to start connecting those dots and really coming to terms with what is it going to take to have a shred of transparency?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just going to comment as well. When they did their apology video, like, the emotions just were not in line with, with the outcry. Like, they haven't expressed the horror of Danny Masterson's crimes. They were like annoyed that it had become an issue for them, that they had received backlash for it. And I get that sense again with the P. Diddy stuff. It's like, oh, it's like an inconvenience. It's annoying. I read a comment on from a source on an article saying that Ashton's just like, he's frustrated that, he's being painted in this light now because of the P. Diddy allegations. And it's like, you should be, and you should be trying to address it. Like, there is a responsibility for your association and your involvement here.
Yeah. Well, and again, yeah, that's what's happening. Let's see what else is going on here.
I am a multitasker. I grew up in a very loud Italian house, so
Yeah.
I can watch TV, I can cook, I can have an argument, and file a lawsuit all at the same time.
Amazing.
Multitasking, Jimmy Kimmel. Well, I'm sure you could put those multitasking tests to the actual rubber meets the road. So you actually multitask and Google for yourself, just Google, what am I being protested for? Just that would be great for you to Google. Why is Jimmy Kimmel being protested? And we're feeding the algorithm your name next to Mila. So your team cannot go, Jimmy, we cannot find it anywhere. We're such a mystery about everything, Jimmy. We have no idea what's going on. It's like, in what world are you covering the news, Jimmy Kimmel? Literally. Oh, let me really tell you the news. Let me make fun about this. Let me make fun about that. So you couldn't be more up to your neck and ears in knowing how the internet works. Your team now knows. Everyone in your team knows how to Google things. Everyone in your team can start really knowing what in the hell is being protested about the people you keep putting in your show. So what's so hard about your job? Like, does no one have access to Google? Is your show literally like, I always say it, it's like we're having a shortage of Google. Like, no one has any Google skills in their head to go, protest, what's going on? Why? Why protest? Why are they saying what they're saying? Why are those signs saying what they're saying? Why are they screaming, kids cannot consent? Hollywood, Scientology, y'all that keep pretending there's nothing to see here. I mean, we're doing this in a very so-called progressive city, Miriam. California, Los Angeles is touted as a progressive city of the universe. California, Los Angeles, and this exists. There's a whole street where child slavery is a thing, thanks to Los Angeles, progressive Hollywood city of the millennia. So they couldn't be more up to their neck and ears in sharing clients, in sharing PR schemes to sanitize the narrative and to rub each other's shoulders. I mean, that's what's going on right here.
Yeah. So you're a big Dodgers fan.
We did. We went to the game, not the one that wasn't great for us, but kudos to you.
The Monday game, yes.
Yeah.
Where the game where the Mets beat the Dodgers
7-1.
and went on. And yes, I got you.
Yeah. We were there.
Yes.
It was a sad day for us.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Game,
but it's only, it's tied series. This is, nothing. It's
Best
not
of luck
over
to
yet.
you, kid.
Thank you. Same to you. I don't have this wrong, I think, because I recall you talking about you get really loud and yell at the players on the field.
I used to.
Oh, you're not doing that anymore?
Well, I grew up.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, you guys, breaking news. Mila Kunis grew up. Aw. Isn't that great? She grew up, Miriam. She used to yell at the players, but she did grow up now. Now, going back to the sanitization, you guys, just so you see how the sausage is made, the gross sausage. So get close to your vomit bag and grab it, because as much as these two are purporting to have such a jolly old conversation about, oh, it could really go anywhere, they already have planted what all these talking points are going to be. And then you're going to pretend that you got the New York thing wrong. And then you're going to go, ha, 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 no, you got that wrong. Oh, yeah, but let's talk about the Dodgers and baseball because I'm such a baseballer. I mean,
yeah, she knew
you're
it was
hitting
gonna
home
segue.
runs.
Yeah, she knew it was going to segue to the Dodgers, so then they could, use a bit of airtime talking about that. And, everything's constructed. And, oh, this is just about light entertainment. Like, we don't talk about negative things. This is what this space is for. And, and then that's unfortunate because you have real harm. This is how abusers can continue to abuse, because it's like, oh, well, no, we only talk about positive things in this space.
It's in your marriage, Mila. So before you think that it's like, it's literally the bestie of your husband. So, and you also wrote a letter of your own. And you were also on that set of that 70s show for a lot of years. And apparently there was nothing you ever saw that needs to be repudiated whatsoever. Everything was great. Everything
Right.
was wonderful. Like, you have no idea why we would be protesting. Are you so confused, or are you playing dumb?
Yeah.
Because that's the question you need to ask yourself. That's the question your team needs to ask themselves. Are you playing dumb? Because again, it's like this whole thing of like, oh, no one in America will know any better as long as you talk about baseball, make yourself real relatable, and then everything is going to be wonderful. And no, we're way past the point of just everything is great and wonderful. I mean, it's
Right.
not what it is.
Oh,
I,
nice.
I don't know how
And
many of you
oh,
here
sorry, Serge.
have done this before.
I was just gonna comment to say as well. It's like people who have survived abuse, abuse, sexual assault, they don't have the luxury of being able to just, you know, wash everything away and to pretend as if they're unaware. Like, they're very aware of what happened to them. That's what happens when you experience severe trauma. It's unforgettable, and a lot of the work that you then have to do after that is to try and recover from that, to try and, like, you know, find a place of safety within your own body again, especially with invasive acts like sexual acts, sexual crimes. And so it's like, you know, they don't have the luxury of that. It's an inconvenient truth that that had happened to them. And yeah, so that's where it's frustrating, because we do need people who have a voice, have a platform. I mean, we all have a voice, but to be able to have access to where you can be heard by a large audience, we need these people to be speaking on these things. And no matter how inconvenient it is, or unfunny it is, or not for entertainment, like, that's important. And that's the change that we want to see in these industries, because not doing that allows this to continue to fester, continue on. And these perpetrators that are being caught now, they've been doing this, they've been running these things for 20, 30 years. And all those victims are
Accountability
just
equals
stacking up.
prevention.
Yeah.
Accountability equals prevention. And the only thing they can do is take accountability now so that there can be prevention. Because if these crimes take place, you're just going to wish there was some shred of prevention when it happened to you. So, no, I totally get what you're saying.
I, in my 20s, prior to having children, wasn't aware of other people's children. Like, it wasn't in my like world of like reference. I would just curse and say things and do things, and I was like, they're fine. And then
So, in your 20s, you were going with the pitch, adults and kids. I mean, you didn't literally say that, but that's what it's sort of giving. In my 20s,
She had no
children were
awareness for
just there. I
children.
could just curse and I could just say all this shit. I mean, where did you get the idea? Because, you know, if you were hanging in Danny Masterson's surroundings, that was the thing. In Scientology, all children are just like everyone else. There's thetans. Thetans, that there's small thetans, but, you know, they're just adults and they really do get it, and they're very, very smart. And yes, as a child, you are aggressively over intellectualized as you're being taught English and our secret language of euphemisms that normalize this at all times, 24/7, 365. As long as you're surrounded by the people that use the euphemisms, all of this is normalized. All of this is sanitized. All of this, everyone's going with the pitch. Everything's real normal. Look, there's no out to these going on. What are your thoughts in terms of this children like statement?
Yeah, I mean, in a way as well, like, I'm thinking she was adulticized as a child too. So, you know, I think it was normalized for her as well to a degree. And then, you know, to the earlier point where she said, I'm an adult now, it's like, okay, well, you're an adult now and you can speak on these things. And
And you've been
that's
an
really
adult for a
important.
lot of years, Mila. Since you were 21, you've been an adult, just so you know. So if you were infantilized in Hollywood, you know what? They weren't doing you any favors. They purported that infantilizing you was in your best interest, but you know what? It wasn't. Because then you've been co-opted. At best, you've been co-opted. At best, you've been led the wrong stray roads. It's going to suck to be you when you realize just how much betrayal is literally sitting all over yourself. But welcome to our world. That's what in the hell we've had to literally pry our eyes open to. Nobody wants to have that cognition. Nobody wants to go, oh, we were all just defrauded. This was all just a scheme and a scam. And this, all of these people, oh, they were so great. They were so well-intentioned. They were going to save our world. Double check if people were really saving our world. The people that you were associated with, double check very quickly if they really were about to save our world. Honestly, ask that with a straight face to yourself. Like, you already met Laura, you already met Miriam, you already met me. Here, just 3 people that can tell you that children in Scientology are not safe whatsoever, Mila. The ones that are there right now, just so you're clear, so you're going to go, well, you know, get over it already. We're in the year 2024. Exacto. We're in the year 2024, and guess what? Same literal shit happening. Because guess how many people have done a shred of a literal thing to make it stop? Not many. Not many at all. Everyone's not taking it seriously. Everyone's pretending that they can play dumb on a full-time basis and no one's going to find out. As long as we pepper in a little Rogers here and a little Dodgers there, then everyone's going to forget in America. I mean, it's really, really ridiculous.
Then I had my own kids.
Too.
And I now am
sorry. I was going to say it's interesting too as well. Ashton having been and founded as well that foundation Thorn, which focused on I think sex trafficking victims and child victims as well. And he had to step away from that foundation as a result of the letters and etc. and the backlash. But it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean that you can't speak on these issues. And I really find it very, very odd, like such extremes to be around. Like, this is where it's not making sense to have these people, these massive perpetrators of abuse in your vicinity, to go on to create a foundation. And I find it's weird. I mean, look, he had to step away from it because he should not be in the vicinity of victims, having said and done the things that he had done. And and so I just think like it's odd seeing this gravitation to being on a foundation of like, do you get what I mean? Like there's contradictions going on there that are just not making sense. If you felt so passionately about these issues that you created a foundation, then it doesn't make sense. Your silence does not make sense. And writing these apology letters does not make sense. Like, this is not adding up. And,
well,
you know,
it's given again, they use these foundation and they use the fake PR to sanitize what in the hell they are up to. And the only reason he would have stepped off so fast is so that no more attention and eyeballs would be going over there, because that's immediately when they started going. So he would have been told by his PR handlers, oh, really, it is better if you just step off. That way people will forget. And Thorn won't be trending in 3 weeks because everyone in America literally has ADHD AF thanks to TikTok and YouTube. No one can consume. No one can follow through. No one can follow up. Everyone's just like, oh, next. What's going on? What's the news? And it's like we're stuck in this toxic cycle of news media virality chasing that doesn't give an F about the actual investigation. Like, L. Ron Hubbard is a convicted felon and a disgusting degenerate, but you know what he did know how to do? Investigate. You know what he did teach people how to do? Investigate. If there's anything you can take out of that disgusting legacy, is investigate. Check for yourself. Don't be told, oh, I was told that it was great. I was told they were wanting to all save a planet. Oh, okay. They all tried to save a planet by putting kids in role-playing child slave roles. How was a planet going to be saved by role-playing slavery in modern America?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this raises for me questions. Like, I am very curious about Ashton Kutcher's past and his involvement and what led him to creating this foundation, Thorn. Like, yeah, there's a lot of questions for me and a lot of things that don't add up. And the emotions are not matching up with the situation. It's like, oh, you have a problem with rapists except for when it's your friend. And then that's annoying. It was kind of, the situation. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
Very different, and I'm very polite, and I clap, and I go, woo, but I no longer like yell at the players.
Oh.
No, I'm very, a lot of guys, I grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm an
I think
adult.
that's good. And I will tell you, I took my kids to the game. My kids are, my son's 7 and my daughter's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And
it's the same as mine.
oh, yeah, that's right. We have the kids the same age.
Yeah.
It was weird sitting there and people are cursing and yelling at the
It
players.
used to be me.
And you go, like, you have to kind of go like, well, this is what goes on.
I know.
You know,
I'm sorry. I apologize retroactively to anyone who sat behind me in my 20s. I'm really sorry.
What are the plans for Halloween?
So
She's
she
very
is
grown up
sorry
now.
for yelling. She is very, very sorry about that. And again, it's like you're being protested for a fake apology, Mila. So you coming here with your condescending attitude, oh my God, I'm really sorry that I yelled. Oh, I really did grow up. It's given you haven't grown a shred of inch. That's what this is giving right now. Oh yeah, I did grow up. Like, how many times do you have to repeat yourself to show us that?
Right.
How can you be so tone deaf? I mean, that's exactly what you're saying, Miriam. How can the context be so lacking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Halloween with the kids? Have they decided on their costumes? And do they change costumes every 3 days?
Okay, wait. Okay, honest story. So, do they change costumes? They change costumes monthly. So I'm a person that like doesn't procure the costume until much later in the season.
Good.
I wait.
Yeah.
Because the idea of the next costume happens on November 1st. They're like, okay, next year I'm gonna be. And I'm like, sure, no problem. But I do have to tell you my son's costume. It is actually really funny. So my daughter, like normal Amazon costume, okay, she wants to be Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. Amazing, right? Like you go click buy now, sold, awesome.
Done.
My son.
Miriam, not for nothing, but this is giving an ARC campaign. Get back in ARC. Talk about something that everyone, oh, look, she's talking about Halloween. We'll make everyone fall in love with you again. We'll pitch you as a mom that really cares. Go and tell people you've really changed. Show people that you still that you do apologize for having yelled and screamed like a crazy woman to baseball players.
Yeah.
Because that's not a tone deaf apology.
Yeah. This is like the epitome of like small talk, and there's just nothing of substance here. There's a lot of discomfort that I'm sort of getting from her. Like she's quite
Her body
like,
language is
nervous.
insane. She's so not comfortable.
Yeah.
She's so
Do you
not
think
comfortable.
that, how much do you think the protesting outside there, how much do you think that kind of soaked in, or like, I don't know if you were to guess, like how much awareness do you think she would have had for that?
They have awareness. I mean, again, they all witnessed it.
Yeah.
It's just that they're not willing to call it out. No one here is confused, you guys. Like, that is not how life works. Breaking news.
Yeah.
People are not just like, oh, but we're just so confused. They know. They know what they did. They know what they were doing. They know what was going on. They know they video recorded. They know it was all done. They know they normalized it. They know they thought themselves the OTs of the universe that can never get caught with anything because we will always have each other's back. And that's why we have that cult apology, right? It's like, it's a mafia. It's a cartel. It works on blackmail. Why is Diddy connected to Masterson, connected to literal Ashton Kutcher, to Thorn, to this, to that? Well, what in the literal living hell is actually going on? This is like the level of clownery. And then we're supposed to like, we're the ones, again, when you see it, when you call it out, when you see Laura screaming, And then Jimmy Kimmel's security staff being very offended that anyone would dare what? Like, tell them, yo, like, what the hell is this about the children's stuff that's being protested right outside? I mean, connect the dots. Stop being allergic to feedback.
Yeah.
Be an adult. We were adults since we were children. So you know what? If we did it, all of y'all can save us your little crying crocodile tears that we don't give a fuck about. The crocodile tears could literally do nothing with that. Because again, the facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. The facts are to be confronted on their face, no matter how unthinkable and disgusting and outrageous, confronted. Deal with reality. Deal with it. This moment calls for dealing with reality and really coming clean on what in the hell has been actually going on. For whatever normalization, because you were covering for your friend, because you really thought you were friends, because you've known each other since you were 14. Well, you know what? Stop going with that pitch. Because that's what we're getting this situation, Miriam. Like all of this blah, 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 sanitized bubbles and soap, and everyone's going to forget. And it's like, no, people aren't forgetting. Like everything keeps corroborating itself more. So the sooner you actually get on the right side of the street of accountability, of working out whatever in the hell type of deal you need to work out with whoever in the hell works at the Department of Justice of these United States, that can cut you all a deal, that can go, yo, well, thank you for coming over with the receipts. Thank you for realizing that it was all fraud, that it was all racketeering, conspiracy, in furtherance of dehumanizing, in furtherance of being a degenerate, a self-entitled degenerate that, you know, some of them were following the literal rhetoric of a convicted felon. Like, no biggie, no biggie. Like America said, believe whatever. This is the country where you really get to do that. Well, you know what? Bullshit. This is a country where you used to be able to get to do that because the law says no. The law never changed, Miriam. And it's like all this time we were led to believe is the law really did apply. The law has not been applied. The law was bent to the knee of whoever can pay an attorney to type and type and type BS. Because, you know, if they really type a lot of shit, then apparently that's all it takes to circumvent it. That's what we can see on the public record. That's how easy the law can be bent, circumvented, twisted in any type of molding that you want. United States of America that purports to be like, oh my God, we're so advanced here. Well, imagine.
Well, one thing that's interesting as well is like the first thing that so like when a perpetrator is you know, if there's allegations that come out and they're sort of representatives in the media will say like, oh, these allegations are from 20 years ago, they immediately distance the perpetrator from the crime or the alleged crime by putting time, saying, oh, it was 20 years ago or 13 years ago or whatever. And it's interesting, you know, not similarly, but it's just interesting to note that immediately in this interview, she is putting some time distancing, like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing when I was in my 20s. I was so unaware. I didn't even know that children were around me. And I was just like, and she repeats it over and over. I'm an adult now. Like, I'm responsible for my actions now. But when I was in my 20s, you know, I was just silly and whatever, naive, and I didn't know better or whatever. So it's interesting that the framing of this time is immediately and repeated in this interview. And then the other thing I would just say is that, like, it doesn't matter, like when we go back to when we're talking about perpetrators and alleged crimes, it doesn't matter how long ago something was. And if anything, that makes it worse. It makes it worse that you continued on doing what you were doing and that person did not have resolution for the crimes that you committed against them. As well, I would also note too, one of the strategies for Scientology is to just delay. So you tend to, these things in the in court cases tend to be these long, drawn out battles, and we're seeing that with Jane Doe 1 in the Gavin Potter case too. I mean, the judge is saying that this is going to take place in like 2 years time. It's wild. Like, yeah, anyways, when time is used as an excuse to distance from a crime, I just find that just very frustrating, because the victim is also having to deal, it doubles the experience and triples and quadruples the experience that the victim is having, because it's being stretched over time. It's makes it worse. That they're not getting their resolution and it's not being addressed. And anyways, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Comes to me, goes, I know what I want to be. And I was like, cool, like ninja, vampire, like where are we at? He's like, I want to be the torch holder from the opening of the Paris Olympic Games. Who on? Don't off. The costume doesn't exist.
No.
It's not a real costume. It's the guy that like ran around with the torch and like did parkour and things. And I was like, wait, what? And so then I Googled it and I was like, maybe Etsy makes it. Like, nope, nobody. I've done it, guys. I did it. I went and I thank you. Oh my God. I mean, this is a true story. I went and I took the photo of the guy in the Olympic Games and I put it on my computer. I was like, okay, I can do this. I have to get a jacket that has the gold buttons and the thing. And I started looking it all up. It was exhausting. Ugh.
And it's too late for Etsy. Takes 4 to 8 months for everything.
By the way, you're not wrong also.
Right?
We just stop right here. I just want to say, this is like, what the hell are we talking about? Is this the most interesting thing that's happened to her in her recent life? Like, I want to.
Well, imagine this is with breaking news of P. Diddy.
Yeah. Right, I know. It's just like,
this is with
wild.
while P. Diddy's breaking news. Well, all of this information is coming up. Well, more and more victims are signing up. I'm just at Etsy to figure it out how I'm gonna make a costume for my child. I mean, again, it's like, this is why it doesn't work to go and say these things in this environment. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the point here. It's like, Mila, like, there's so much going on, girl, that maybe miss us with the Etsy story. Like, nobody cares, honestly.
Right.
Like, read the room.
Yeah.
I mean, not the sanitized, curated room that your publicist set up for you with air conditioning. The room from when you got into the parking lot to when you left, to when all of your fans that said, oh, really great opportunity to go see Jimmy Kimmel tonight. He's going to be so funny. I'm going to crack up so much. Well, you know what? They weren't cracking any jokes or laughing when they were being confronted with the connections that aren't being made. I mean, Jimmy's all about connecting dots. He tells us all the time, oh, look, you guys, ha, 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 he. Well, you know what, Jimmy? Start connecting dots. Don't show us that you can only connect dots when you get paid, because you know what? That's going to get called out. Oh, I'm just such a relatable dad. Well, you're not paying attention to what's being protested every time you bring a guest that is being protested on the internet, that you are being called out to do. If you are not in charge of booking them, then talk to your people. Figure it out, because...
And she was like, no problem, 6 to 8 weeks. And I was like, I don't have that much time.
Yeah, it's too much time. What a weird costume. What was he dressed as last year? Do you even remember?
Last year, he went as a Grim Reaper. Like, it was a
that's
costume
what my son's going
with
as
the little
this year.
red little eyes that glow. Fine costume. Buy now. You know what I mean?
Got it on Amazon.
Easy.
Yeah.
This one, I had to get the torch. I had to get the cloak thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm like sweating bullets getting this together.
Will you trick or treat with the kids? And will you be in costume?
Sorry.
Always.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a parent of 2 kids. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she's so out of touch, because is this like her biggest challenge that she's had to face? Like, I just don't fucking get this. Also because she can easily just pay someone to make it. So her struggle, like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just not reading as authentic. Like, that's her recent struggle. I mean, I don't know. But I'm also someone that doesn't tolerate small talk a lot, like superficial conversation. So I don't know. I'm just finding this kind of frustrating with the way that she's.
Well, I mean, And again, Miriam, their thing could be like, oh, you guys are so, overcritical. This is not for that. Okay, well, the cat's out of the bag already. Like, you're not reading the room. You're
Right.
pretending it doesn't matter. You're
Mm-hmm.
pretending, oh, just go out there to really distract the people so they don't really think that Ashton and you are having any problems because you're here, ha, 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 looking for a costume. Let me really talk to you about that for 100 hours and laugh and la, la, la. Like,
Yeah.
Love Halloween.
Yeah.
I've
What will
always
you
loved
go
Halloween.
as? Do you know yet?
This year,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a Tin Man.
Tin Man. Okay. Oh, all right. And will your dog go along as?
Oh no, that's a really good idea. No, it's
Oh.
like a stuffed dog in her like little.
Oh, she's got a
Yes.
got a stuffed
Although
dog.
we should bring a dog, but
Yeah, why not? So it's going to be the Tin Man,
Yeah.
Dorothy,
Yeah.
a little stuffed dog, and the torch carrier.
It makes no sense.
Good thing you don't have the scarecrow because it could be dangerous.
Like the whole thing on fire. I think Ash is going as the Yellow Brick Road.
Oh,
like,
he is.
Follow the Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, he's always got to go fast.
follow the yellow brick road. I
Wow.
mean, sounds like that should be the right costume for him. I think that finally we had to wait this long, you guys, to get a one piece that makes a shred of sense. So at least for that, we'll give you credit when credit is due, you guys. Ashton Kutcher breaking news is gonna be the follow the yellow brick road costume.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I mean, I do think that that's actually incredible. Like, seriously, breaking news. If anybody was wondering what Ashton Kutcher is going to be for Halloween, he's going to be the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
Like the literal road, Ashton Kutcher. Okay.
Fancy.
I know.
He's going as the road? That's not an Amazon costume.
Yes, it is.
It is?
It's an Amazon costume.
Oh, good.
God.
It's an Amazon costume, you guys. The yellow brick road, that's what Ashton is into. Amazon costumes. Okay, got it.
You can buy the Yellow Brick Road cape.
Unbelievable.
Cloak.
What a time we're living in, huh?
That's so good. Not my torch little holder from the Olympic opening game.
Yes,
I know.
yes. All right, we're going to take a break. Mila Kunis is here. A new movie is called Goodrich. It opens at theaters Friday. We'll be right back.
That
We're
was
gonna
it?
fast
Was
forward.
that? Oh my
No.
God. Okay.
I just don't want to show their movie because otherwise they're like copyright.
Oh, copyright. Yeah.
On like a slope
Oh.
like this, okay? And when you watch the movie, I was gonna say, when you watch the movie, you're gonna see I'm the pregnant one. So he's supposed to be holding me up, but Michael decided the day before to get knee surgery. And so he shows up to say, he's like, guys, I got knee surgery. And I was like, what? And so in this scene, I'm holding him up because we're walking down. I think it's very funny. If you don't know it, you wouldn't catch it, but I think it's really funny.
What? He had knee surgery? And he shows up after having knee surgery? And it's
Mm.
funny. Okay.
You, by the way, I want you to know that you got 2 thumbs up from Henry Winkler, who has 2 of the most famous thumbs in the whole
It's so
world.
nice.
The Fonz
I know, it's so nice.
went out of his way to compliment
Guys,
the movie.
He was at the screening, and my parents were there with me. And it's the Fonz, okay? So
Yeah.
let's not play down, right?
Yeah.
And so my parents are sitting going, is Henry Winkler in the movie? And I was like, no, he's just here. Why? And I was like, I don't know, Dad. He just wants to enjoy the movie. And they couldn't understand, why is Henry Winkler here? Why is the Fonz here? And I was like, because he's just enjoying the movie. And
That's-
So, just in case anyone forgot, she was famous, you guys. She's so special and famous. Gotcha.
the movie goes, he wasn't in it. And I was like, I know.
That's what I said earlier. They didn't see Night Shift, I guess. They don't
No,
know the long
exactly.
history of Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton,
Yes.
who is, you got along with him well. I mean, it's hard not to get along with him well. He's a lovely person in general.
I love Michael. I genuinely do. I feel like he's like an onion of a human being with multitude of layers. I mean, but like,
You guys, like an onion of a human being, but with multitude of layers. Breaking news. You thought you were going to get nothing out of this interview, and you know what? You're getting some nuggets.
Yeah.
The yellow brick road and the literal man that's a full-blown onion with a ton of layers. I mean, who does that apply to exactly, Mila? That would be great to really know. Type it up. Who does that onion man that you're very highly aware exists out there. Allegedly. Allegedly, you do know what an onion walking man full of layers is. I mean,
I mean,
Would
I
you
don't
say he's a
know. Maybe she's just not used to that because from the sounds of it, it just seems like everything is, I don't know, whatever. You can't assume too much just over like a talk show thing, but like I'm getting the impression that their household might be a little bit boring. Like conversations between her and Ashton just sound like they must be so vanilla and bland and like beige.
I mean, look at
I don't
this, you
know.
guys. No, there's nothing vanilla going on here. Look at this. I mean, look at this body language.
Discomfort.
And yeah, somebody
Yeah.
just said, free translate. She just said, she looks panicked, not relaxed and happy at all. She's totally in PR mode. Yeah.
Totally.
You're not natural,
Yeah.
relaxed, and friendly, Mila Kunis. Your TRs couldn't be more out. It's giving Miss Withhold. It's giving, did you tell part of a withhold but not the rest? Did you almost slip and talk about the onion? And then, oops, maybe I shouldn't really talk about onions. Oops, maybe I shouldn't be talking about kids since they are
Layers. Yeah.
literally protesting me for kids cannot consent outside. Maybe this was not the headline I needed. So tell your PR team, if they're gonna be being protested for kids not consenting, and they're gonna go with Mila Kunis on her kids, you're gonna make it about your kids to soften your image. It's giving tone deaf. Is giving fire your entire PR team. They are useless. They are worthless. They are incompetent. They are tone deaf. They have no access to Google. They cannot literally have access to Chat GPT. Apparently, they have no access to anything. Apparently, you are back to the 1950s, back to where L. Ron Hubbard started his scam. So apparently, that's the type of team you must have around you. Really going with the kid stuff on the headline while you were being protested for kids not being able to consent.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to present like I'm just a relatable mom, and yeah, it's definitely but and the body language is very uncomfortable.
Caramelized onion, or is it just a
Caramelized
raw onion? That's
No, he's sweet. He's caramelized. Like he has a good bite to him. You know what I mean? No, I love Keith. I really do.
But you did have a little. There was some jousting that went on.
So I've done talk shows now for 20, 30 years. Okay. I've never come onto a talk show with a story ever in my life.
Never?
No, because I have a horrible memory. And I don't remember anything that happened a year ago. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll just talk about whatever. Except
Whoa. I don't remember anything that happened a year ago. Like,
maybe
what
that's the
actually happened
problem,
a
you
year
guys.
ago?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Finally, we understand what all of us apparently missed. Mila that has a horrible memory, and for the very first time in her entire life, she came to a talking show with talking points. Damn, quite an admission right there.
And also, like, so he said jousting, and then she was like, straight away, she knew what he was talking, and then she launches into the story, right? Whatever she's about to go into. But yeah, there's definitely, I mean, this is out of all the interviews I've seen on these kind of shows, this to me feels like the most sort of like not scripted, but definitely there's prompters of like these talking points.
Miriam, they're all
odd.
the lie.
And this one
the
for
fact
me
that
is
she
very
lies
noticeable.
and goes, oh yeah, before it's all so organic. Nothing is organic, you guys. It's called curating their image. It's called they figure out the sanitized talking points. They figure out the interview. They figure out the tone of the interview. They laugh it up and they go to the sponsor. See, everybody loves her again. America really loves her. And imagine that they couldn't have done more of a disgusting, unthinkable job because, again, it's like they're not checking Google at all. They are not knowing who their client is at all. They purport that if you just talk to people as if they're idiots, they're just going to go, oh, yeah, we are idiots. You're right, Mila. Oh, we forgot about everything, Mila. Oh, yep. Oops. Oh, you tell us that you have horrible memory. Oh, so maybe that's why you've been giving such bad apologies, because now all of a sudden you have really bad memory, but you are an actress. So how the hell do you do lines with a horrible memory? Like nothing is making a shred of sense here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my question is, why are your husband's friends going around drugging and raping people? Why, Mila?
Allegedly
Like, why is that happening?
allegedly one of them, one's already convicted and one's facing, 100x the allegations that the last one that got convicted
120.
So what's making
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like, are the excuses making a lot of sense? Or are you complicit? Are you full knowing? Did you attend them? Like, which one is it? I mean, by all means.
This one. So so when you're shooting a movie, there's trailers, and the first person that showed up parks next to the trailer. Okay, so Keaton's number one on the call sheet. Wah, wah. Okay, so he gets to park closer to the trailer. However, there were days that I got there early, so I would park closest to the trailer. What am I gonna do? Park to the side? That's weird, right? So I park closest to the trailer. I wrap the day. I get to my car, and I think you have.
I do, yeah.
Okay, this is what he leaves on my car. Okay, guys, but wait.
He gives a secret identity away.
It's so good. He signs it Bruce Wayne. Guys, it gets better. Okay, so then this continues.
But she's very excited about this story.
She rehearsed
her
this
memory is
one.
intact. Good thing her memory is intact because there is a photo, and that's probably helped her. Because otherwise, if it's past a year, she doesn't remember. So thank goodness.
She took a photo of it, and this segment was not planned at all or staged, but they really do have the photo there to talk about the Batman thing. Got it.
Of course.
For a while, right?
Yeah.
We're skipping this part because the producer was like, this story's getting really long. Okay, I was like, let's quicken it up. So there's a lot of banter back and forth, mostly on windshields for the next couple days. Like we leave notes for one another. Then finally, I was like, enough is enough, and
So breaking news again, you guys. If anybody wants to get a hold of Mila's brain, put something on her windshield, right? Like she does respond to that. Put a Batman and say child trafficking down at the hotel. Celebrity Center, remember when you went there to sing your little Christmas carols? Remember that one? That's all we need. Now we know how to communicate with her. You need to communicate through the window shield wiper. Then she won't forget. Then she'll actually take a little picture of it and be like, oh, look, child trafficking needs to stop. Oh, yay, I forgot that had to be stopped. I really did forget. So maybe I need to now figure out a way to make it stop. Oh, I do have a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. Oh, maybe I can stop the child trafficking going on at the hotels by enlisting the multi-million-dollars that Ashton and I have in Thorn of alleged government contracts, right? Because he was over there in Congress yapping and talking about, oh my God, you guys, after I saw CP for the first time, he was going into detail about some CP that he saw that really traumatized them. Apparently, he's just like, I was watching this and you have no idea. Like, why the F were you watching that actor Ashton Kutcher? Because apparently you've only contextualized that you were so pressed for having had access to that material. So why did you get access to the material? And why do you not give an F now on the after the issue happened? If this was so close and dear to your heart, where in the hell is that closeness and dearness to your heart today? Because we've told you everything that happened to kids inside of the hotels where, yes, your bestie, Westie, Danny Masterson, they were video recording it all, Ashton. Go ask Carol Masterson for a session of an underage child. See if you can sit through it. See if maybe you will start crying and going to Congress with that tape next and see what kind of other multi-million-dollar shit you can secure for yourself. I mean, you've already done it. You go to Congress and you cry that you really need a lot of money because you really need help because you're really going to use technology to what?
did something, and Michael recorded himself pulling up to work with what I did, and this kiboshed the whole thing. And I think you have the video.
We do have the video,
This is
yeah.
Michael shot the video of pulling up to work, and this is me. And at every single spot, I put my face on it. So I was.
Oh, look. So you're all about flyer tech. So for all the protesters that were wondering how to get your point across to Mila Kunis, she's all about flyer tech right there. Breaking news, you guys. I think this interview has been amazing. We've learned a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like, we've literally learned how to get a hold of this woman. So
And
if you can't
all
get
this-
to her window shield, then you can just use some
put a
flyer
poster
tech.
up. And just like, by the way, all this is because she took his car park in the first place. And then just like, oh, and there's so much banter back and forth, and it was so hilarious. And it's like, she couldn't respect his boundary in the first place. That was, I don't know, just the self-entitlement is like, she's like, well, I didn't want to walk that far. I just like, your life is not that difficult, Mila. Like, you've got tons of money. If you have to walk a couple of meters from your car to your trailer, like, are these the biggest challenges that you're facing in your life, that you have to make a kid's Halloween costume and that you don't want to walk too far to the trailer? Like, it's just so, I don't know, it's just so removed. Anyways.
Bingo. So, and with that, you guys, thank you for supporting our protest. Thank you for showing up for us. Thank you for raising awareness on this issue. I gotta run because I have an appointment to go to. So I won't get to your questions now, but anyone else that wants to leave questions or comments, Miriam and I are going to be answering any other comments or questions you might have on all the points that we raised, because that's how we're going to get the transparency, and that's how we're going to get people stop playing dumb. So if anybody has questions and everybody wants to know something, definitely leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe. Join Miriam's channel. She's posting more and more content there. And all our advocacy efforts are so that no more kids get stuck inside of the Scientology hotels and commercial buildings. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.